Hello, fellow grave crawlers, and welcome to ZTV Reviews. I am Paper Zombie, your host with you as always. And on today's episode, we're diving into episode 3 of season 1 of Chucky. So without further ado, let's talk about I Like to Be Hugged. I Like to Be Hugged picks up the very next day after episode 2, where Jakey has been tasked with taking out his nemesis, Lexi. And let me tell you, Jakey makes good on that task. Well, good attempts at least. He strikes for the first time after school, while Lexi is out on her daily jog, by tracking her on his phone and moving in on her with knife at the ready when the moment is right. But Lexi turns out to be Junior, who was also out on a jog and is carrying Lexi's phone because she left it at the house and he was taking it back to her. This encounter rightfully freaks Junior out. And when he meets up with Lexi, he's like,
"You crossed a line. And now..."
And now? What?
yeah. See what I mean about that reflecting and growing with Lexi? There ain't none. Junior tells Lexi that now she needs to apologize to Jake. But Lexi is like,
"Hell to the no!"
and boldly asks Junior, what is Jake going to do if she doesn't apologize? When a bit of Junior's fear sneaks out, as he answers that he honestly doesn't know, Lexi starts to think that maybe, just maybe, God is trying to tell her something. Cue attempt number 2. Lexi actually goes to Logan and Breeze to see Jake, but winds up meeting Jakey instead. And just as Jakey is about to make his move, Lexi flips the script and actually apologizes for her Halloween costume and for hurting him. But then she turns around and jacks it all up by calling Jake a weird social tumor who's creepy AF, who tried to mess with her at the talent show. Then she goes on to say that she's being the bigger person, and that her apology is an act of humility. Then, no, she's not through yet. Then she tells Jake that now he owes her something back for her act of humility. And what she wants is Chucky. See, little Caroline has been missing her new friend and has been showing her little booty at home because she wants him. But, ain't none of that Jakey's problem. And he tells Lexi that she can't have Chucky now or ever. Which of course sends her and her little attitude storming off the property. Now all this time, Chucky has been the one giving Jakey tips on how to take out Lexi. And when Chucky finds out that Lexi has basically given him a free pass into her house, he persuades Jakey to hand the task of taking her out back to him so that they can put the icing on the cake of making Lexi think that her little nasty ways have gotten her exactly what she wants. Now, here's another chance for Lexi to attempt to make things right with Jake when he brings Chucky to her house. Do you think she takes it?
Survey said...
Even though little Caroline is elated,
This means a lot to her. Thank you.
Lexi tells Jake that his act changes nothing between the two of them. They are still not equals, and they are still not friends. And that's just fine, because it makes things a whole lot easier for Jake to let Chucky go. Chucky and Caroline bond for the rest of the day, which leads to evening, where Lexi throws a party at her house while her parents are out. And you gotta love technology, right? Loud music is usually a telltale sign of a party. So just have everybody bring their headphones and Bluetooth into the system, and pow, problem solved. But now there's a new problem. If everybody has headphones on, who's going to hear if someone screams? The first one to do so is Oliver, whom Chucky mistakes for Lexi while he's leaving the bathroom. After striking him in his Achilles heel to make sure that he can barely crawl away, Chucky makes sure that Oliver feels every last shank delivered. And he does shallow cuts. So it takes some torturous moments before Oliver becomes victim number one. Meanwhile, Lexi segues from her own party for a solo smoke break in her room. But that solo turns into a duo when Chucky jumps Lexi and attempts to strangle her with the necklace she's wearing. The struggle causes Lexi to drop her, cigarette, which goes to work on setting the nearby carpet and drapes on fire. During the struggle, Lexi discovers that she is, in fact, fighting against a living doll. The fear boost gives her the power to get Chucky off of her, but it's not enough to grant her safety. She's cornered and can do nothing to stop Chucky from recovering his knife and moving in on her. And as he moves in, Chucky lets her know.
This is for Jake. You little...
Before he proceeds to burn the whole place down like he's Carrie. And all of the partygoers are blissfully oblivious to the nightmare around them. Our episode ends with Jake, who has gone to the graveyard to visit his parents, hearing a variety of sirens pass by his location. Knowing exactly where those sirens are going, he figures the task of killing Lexi is complete, and all he can do is tell his parents that he's sorry. This was a good episode. The slow burn continues from the previous episode, but this time, we get to hit that big climax. In the background this episode, we see Logan and Bree, plus Lexi's parents, Michelle and Nathan, become aware that Lexi has been bullying Jake when they meet at a parent-teacher conference and see the pictures of Lexi's costume from the Halloween party. We also finally find out why Lexi acts the way she does. During her botched apology to Jake, she reveals that when she's upset, she hurts people. Or something. Yeah. It is a real coping mechanism for some people. Devin has us wondering if he's just a protective, compassionate type with his friends, or if he's just that way with Jake. Either way, it lets Jake know that he has someone in his corner, and Devin holds that corner, even against Kim, who becomes aware that Devin and Jake have had contact and forbids him from having any further contact with Jake. And Kim has drawn the conclusion that either Jake is trouble or trouble follows him wherever he goes. And until the answers are clearer, she is not having it with Devin being anywhere near Jake, and might take her belt off if she finds out he's broken that rule. We also get the story of Chucky's first murder as part of his advice to Jakey, and it's a surprise to find out that it happened when Chucky was fairly young, like 8 to 10 years old. There was a murder on the loose in Hackensack who had already racked up a body count in the days past, before they found their way to Chucky's house late one night. That murderer killed Chucky's father and sent Chucky and his mother scurrying upstairs to hide in the closet. Despite being that young, Chucky saw two ways out of that situation. Either die alongside his mother, or live by killing her to impress the murderer. Chucky chose option 2 and kills his mother with his pocket knife that he'd swiped from his room before going into hiding. This works as Chucky hoped it would to impress the killer, who wipes the pocket knife's blade clean on his clothes, tells Chucky that if he's gonna be a killer, he needs to cover his tracks, and that he has guts, before he goes off into the night to find his next victim. And speaking of victims, Jakey would have had Lexi if it wouldn't have been for the switcheroo. I like seeing the struggle between the two sides, but Jakey ultimately won out and left a remorseful Jake behind. But is Jakey gone for good? Or will Jake need him now more than ever, now that things have gone the way that they have? We'll have to see if episode 4 brings us those answers. So until then, I am Paper Zombie, and I'll catch you later.